I want to show you how to make a fully automated podcast studio.
Damn! That looks super cool.
This is the YoloBox Extreme, and it's a switcher, streamer, and recorder all in one.
Is this system recording each camera independently?
So it'll do the program and then it'll do ISO version. So right now it's recording me as part of the program feed, but it's also recording me as a backup, your camera as a backup,
good.
And the computer as a backup. You can think of it as the brains of the entire operation. And it even has support for NDI capable devices.
This is what blew my mind.
Take over any phone that has the ability to download the NDI app.
And pairing it was probably the easiest thing I've ever had to do from a technical standpoint. It just connected seamlessly. The YoloBox Extreme has everything you would want, but the real magic happens here under the auto switch menu. You can auto switch based on timers. So like if you didn't care what it cut to, you could just have it do this. And what it does is it cuts to each angle back to its master, and then it'll cycle through each camera. But what you really want to do is use video follows audio.
But how loud do I have to be in order to, hey, yeah, right.
Basically what's going to happen is as the audio gets louder or quieter, that's going to trigger the cameras to switch. There's the microphone itself, the volume that it's recording on the camera. In the board, you tell it what level to detect. And there's always this fine balance between a little too loud, a little too quiet, where that cutoff is for it to actually hear and trigger. So depending on the condition, you can change your switching action. Meaning if I'm talking, it'll cut to my camera, but if audio is detected on this other input, it'll switch to a different camera angle. As long as every microphone is run to its own camera, you can auto switch between them on the YoloBox Extreme.
That is pretty cool, although I don't get my own single.
You have control over the switch sensitivity, the minimum switch duration, as well as the threshold or the decibel level needed to be reached in order to switch.
Enunciate.
I like that they give you all these different conditions, so whether it's one camera input or if it's combinations, you can change the switching action to go to any one of your other inputs. It's very customizable and intuitive. Thankfully, this is just listening to volume, and that's all it cares about, which is really nice if you get it dialed in. Right now, it's limited to a maximum of 3 audio sources, and you can't separate left from right. But I'm hoping that they add this in the future via firmware because I want more audio channels and more audio triggers. The problem is, even if I'm not talking, this microphone is still hearing you a little bit. So if that sensitivity is too low or too high, one or the other, however you look at it, it'll trigger this mic even if you're talking way over there. So you got to dial the sensitivity in, and then there are options in here to combo mic. So you can do both of those as a third camera option.
Wow.
If all you want recorded is that auto switch version, you can just record the program at 4K resolution. You can even add some ISO tracks as backup for editing later in post-production if you want. But if you want to record all of your ISO tracks, you're gonna have to reduce the resolution. 4K is just too much for everything. Once you drop it down to 1080p, you should be good to go.
Just so many features they've thought of, and all in one thing.
It's important to know this is your switcher and computer all in one. So there's no extra computer or laptop or phone required. Everything can be handled right by the YoloBox Extreme, except you should know you can overwhelm the system with too much. If you try and max it out, it will be too much for the CPU. So you have to find that balance between what you need and what the board can handle. If you want a lot of different camera angles all recorded in ISO, 1080p is the way to go. But if you just want that one auto switch sequence, you can get that plus a few others in 4K. There's a wide of the room, the iPad if we had some kind of Zoom call, or if we were watching a video.
You would never call this Coco.
We would never call it Coco.
So then if I pause that and I manually switch back to me, back to you guys, close up on David, or you can use the video follows audio, and then it does it automatically.
How about that?
I've got a computer hooked up to an external display also going into the board. This monitor is for external recording and monitoring. Cameras everywhere.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, live.
It's a really cool piece of technology, and I'm just scratching the surface. There's so much more this thing can do for any kind of live event, podcast, or multicam production. Just be aware of those CPU limits if you're trying to max everything out at 4K. I will say, how long do you think it took me to get dialed in? 20 minutes maybe? With more time, with more optimization, even this studio is kind of just
hodgepodge together. There's cords everywhere. It's not clean. It's not tidy. It was just to prove a point. And now that it's all set up, if I did refine it and dial it in, I think it would be a lot better. The computer can just do it itself. That's a game changer.